Now, the vast majority, approximately 95% of the people of all countries, go around and around without aim or purpose. They drift with the circumstances of life, good or bad.
A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind.
Whereas the successful individuals create their own circumstances and ride them to victory.
When you're on purpose, you're living on purpose. You will never quit if you have a real purpose.
A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. But what I have done has been recorded, it's been tested, it's being taken to a free world, and it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born.
And it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born. We're some of those people that we're spreading this to the world. As your awareness grows, the doubt is gone so that you can manifest whatever it is your heart desires. Isn't that beautiful?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Napoleon Hill Institute's From Drifter to Leader event. We are so excited about today. We're so excited to come to you and just talk about this important topic. I hope everybody was able to join the WhatsApp chat, do your assignments. I know they sent out the drifter assessment, and a lot of you put really great vulnerable shares in the Facebook group. And we're so grateful that you're taking this training seriously. A lot of us found that we were drifters. Yeah, we were drifters. I definitely drifted through life for decades. And I think that it's lessons like these that are wake-up calls. We are all being called to wake up. We're all being called to wake up from this sleep, from the drift or the dream, as I call it. We can be sleeping at the wheel of our lives. Often we are. I found that to be true in my own life. And if anybody has never met me or seen me, my name is Carla Elizondo, and I am a principal teacher here at the Napoleon Hill Institute. I'm also a psychotherapist, and I love helping people, teach them all about their mind. But I do it selfishly because I learned so much more about my mind as well. I have a magnificent obsession with all things psychology, personal development, spiritual development. And that is why I'm here at the Napoleon Hill Institute, because it truly is a home. It's a hub for all things personal and spiritual development. And I think we're all thirsty for that, especially in these times. So again, my name is Carla. Feel free to put things in the chat. Let this be interactive. I'll try to look over at the chat and see anything you're putting in. And my mission today, my goal is to really have you open your heart, your ears, your mind. And so for this next hour, as I speak, my intention is for you to really open up and just let go of everything from the past. Be an open cup, be an open vessel, and be willing to hear something new. A lot of times we study this material and we build it all up, but we don't apply it. They call it shelf help. I had a lot of books on my shelf in the shelf help aisle, but I wasn't getting the results I wanted in life. So from drifter to leader, from drifter to leader. Lefford Fate yesterday was an amazing presenter. He's funny. I love his personality. I love his style, but his words were so piercing. And I just want to follow hopefully in his footsteps and continue this beautiful training. Jeff, if you would like to put the slides up for me, please. Thank you so much. We have such a beautiful team here. So again, welcome. Are you a drifter? Are you a leader? You are spending your afternoon or your morning over here in California. On the West Coast, it's 9 a.m. I know on the East Coast, it's noon. And so you have spent your time. You have logged in here. You're watching this. So you already are showing signs of being a leader of your life. So let's dive in. Are you a drifter? Are you a leader? Nobody has ever drifted to the top of a mountain. Nobody has ever drifted to the top of a mountain. No one has ever drifted to anything but failure. That quote stood out to me yesterday. Leffert Fate said that in his presentation. Let's just let that soak in. Nobody has ever drifted to the top of a mountain. That is so true. We don't just accidentally mosey to the top of a summit, to a peak. It takes effort. It takes intention. It takes purpose. It takes desire. No one has ever drifted to anything but failure. If you think about a stream of a river, it drifts, the stream, the current goes down. It takes no effort. It takes absolutely no effort to drift downward, to be carried down the stream of life. And most people are doing that. But again, this is not to blame or shame ourselves or other people. It's just to become aware that if we allow the currents and the streams of life to just take us without knowing that we have the power, that we have the control, we can turn our ship around and start going upstream to higher levels, to the source, if you will. That's where we want to be. And so you're here, you're giving yourself this gift to learn how we can turn metaphorically our ship around and start going upstream against the current. And it's a beautiful process. We love that. We love to know that we're growing. And the truth is that people can have anything they want. The trouble is they don't know what they want. You can have anything you want, but have you taken the time to decide to really let a dream grow in your heart and to really get comfortable and get familiar and start falling in love with what you want? I know for me that when I was younger, I dreamed. It was so easy to get involved with goals and be excited about what I wanted. But as life unfolded and life happened, I found myself drifting down the current and getting discouraged, seeing all the other people, the majority of people going downriver too, and thinking that's just how life is. That was just the cards I was dealt. It's karma. It's my fate. It's whatever. Anything bad, I was just being punished. I didn't understand that I had a choice. I could decide what I wanted. And the majority of the time, people just don't even allow themselves to do that because they don't even know it's an option. Isn't that wild? So what do you want? What do you want? What would you love? What lights your heart up? What brings you joy? What would absolutely just create fireworks throughout your whole body? That is really what we're here to do. We're here to awaken you from drifting, awaken you from being asleep at the wheel of your life. Somebody did that for me. And it's my goal and my life's purpose. All of us here at the Napoleon Hill Institute, every single person here, all of the amazing coaches and the leadership here, every single person, we have a burning desire to share this information and to let everybody watching know that you can have whatever you want. You truly can. This is not mumbo jumbo. This is not, us trying to convince you of something. We've lived it. We are living examples. And we can't help but have this just bust out of the seams of us because we're getting what we desire. Our dreams are coming true. We're getting what we want. We've had so many beautiful changes in our lives, and it's overflowing to our family, to our friends, to our community. How beautiful is that? So I really want you to think today, throughout this whole training, throughout your whole life, what do you want? Allow yourself to go there. So really quick, let's look at some things. What's the difference between leaders and drifters? Let's start over at leaders. They're intentional. They know what they want. They're driven, focused, optimistic, decisive, and dissatisfied. I'll talk about that in a minute. Drifters, it's just accidental. They're accidental. They're not intentional. They're accidental. They don't know what they want. They haven't decided. They don't even know they have an option or a choice. They let the outside world dictate what is available to them. They're distracted to the right, to the left, all of the distractions today, the loud noise pulling at us from everywhere. Pessimistic, glass half empty, always seeing the problems. It takes no effort to see what's wrong in this world. As my great mentor Bob Proctor used to say, any dumbbell can point out what's wrong in this world. Any ding-dong can see the trouble that is there or a problem. It takes a person of effort and stamina to be solution-focused. We need more of those people. Anybody can scream fire at a burning house, but the person who's running to get the buckets to put out the fire, that's what we need. Just so distracted people, pessimistic, having no goals, procrastinate instead of being decisive. And drifters are satisfied. They settle. And so back to this leaders, this dissatisfied. Leaders are dissatisfied because dissatisfaction is a creative state. If you are dissatisfied or discontented, good. You're in the right place. In the coaching that we do, and I tell my clients, it's called divine dissatisfaction, divine discontentment. Discontentment is a creative state. Dissatisfaction means that we want something better, we want to grow, we want the next new thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Always be grateful and satisfied for what you have, but always be grateful and happy for what you have, but never be satisfied. Always be grateful, thankful, but never be satisfied. Because once you're satisfied, you become complacent. You begin to drift. If we were satisfied with the ink and quill, we would have never created the typewriter. If we were satisfied with the horse and carriage, we would have never created the car. If we were satisfied with, taking hours, days on a ship, we would have never created the airplane. So dissatisfaction has created the best things that continue to make life simpler and easier and more joyful. So never feel guilty for being dissatisfied. Be grateful, but never be satisfied, because that is the calling. That is the itch we get to start creating something new, to start up-leveling, growing into the higher next version of ourselves. Because you're meant to grow. You are meant to grow. You don't have to do it. We don't have to do anything, but we all have this innate drive to grow into the highest version of ourselves. That's why we feel this pull. I know I felt it. I felt like there was just this energy that wanted to seep out. If you've ever heard or said in your head, I was meant for something more. I know I'm supposed to do something better, something more than this. And it's not to say, oh my gosh, I feel guilty because I have a great job, I have a great family, and I'm having trouble with this feeling inside that wants to expand. Don't feel guilty. It's your innate desire to grow into the next version of yourself. We are meant to grow, just like any living organism in this universe. And the truth is, we are either growing or we're dying. Just like plants. They could be alive. We're all alive. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that we are all alive right now. Our heart is pumping and we are alive. Physically, we're alive. But spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, are we growing? Are we expanding? Or are we dying? Are we feeding our dreams? Are we feeding our goals? Are we feeding our mind? Do we feel that fuel being pumped in? Are we putting logs on the fire of our burning desire? Or are we just standing in front of a cold pit that has ashes from the past, from when we were younger? Is it old embers burning barely? We want to put logs on the fire of our desire. And it takes thought, it takes effort, it takes surrounding yourself with people. And that is why we are here. That's why the Napoleon Hill Institute is here. It is a home, it is a place for people who are dreamers, who are doers, who are action takers, who want to grow and achieve their goals. Because Lord knows there are so many people that put other people down, that dash their dreams, that are pessimistic, all the drifters. We're leaders here. We are leaders here, and we attract leaders. So that has to say something about you. We are leaders of our lives, and we attract leaders. So stick around here. Stick around with us. It's going to rub off on you. So Napoleon Hill said, drifting without aim or purpose is the first cause of failure. Without a plan for life, concentrated effort, and persistent activity, you will have no means of controlling your own destiny. So if we just drift without aim or purpose, that's the first cause of failure. If we don't have a plan for our life, if we are concentrating on a specific effort, and we don't continue in that activity, we don't control our destiny. Is this you right now? Let's be honest. As Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich, in the Six Ghosts of Fear, Outwitting the Six Ghosts of Fear, chapter 15, he says, take an inventory of yourself. And even when it comes to, if anybody struggled with addiction, in the recovery process, we have to take that fearless moral inventory. We have to look at our character defects. We have to take an honest, sobering look at ourselves, and it's not easy. It's the whole idea of the Joseph Campbell, entering the cave you fear. It's the scary, dark, shadowy parts. Napoleon Hill in his book, Outwitting the Devil. That's a strong word, and if that word bothers you, throw it out. Suspend judgment for a minute and replace that word with darkness or negativity. I know for me, growing up, and a lot of people could have a negative connotation that word, the devil, can turn them off because it has been weaponized. And I understand that. However, we all have shadow parts within us. So I encourage you to be open-minded about that. I know some people have said, I just taped over the word, or I just replace it with darkness, but we all have shadow sides within us. And if we don't acknowledge that, if we don't understand that there are a negative to the positive, there are forces that are resistant and keep us down. And it can be on low levels and high levels. But people who embrace that, if we can embrace that, it doesn't mean that we have to live in the darkness. We just have to acknowledge it. And then we can bring light to it. Because if we don't know where the darkness is, how are we ever going to bring light to it? How are we ever going to outwit that fear, that darkness, that shadow? People who accomplish the most understand that, quote, the devil is at their heels, and it creates this drive, this passion, this sense of urgency that we are not promised tomorrow, that it's easy to drift. So it's actually beneficial to understand and acknowledge the opposite force of the light, and then move directly into the light, bring the light to it. So I encourage you to keep an open mind about that. Earl Nightingale, in his great program, Lead the Field, he said about 95% of people can be compared to ships without rudders, subject to every shift of wind and tide. They're helplessly adrift. And while they fondly hope that they'll one day drift into a rich and successful port, you and I know that for every narrow harbor entrance, there are 1,000 miles of rocky coastline. The chances against their drifting into port are 1,000 to 1. I love this. I remember when I first read this, I was like, oh, this is so dang true. 95% of people, only 5 out of 100, are really focused. So let's think about that. 95% of people are like ships without rudders. And that can be translated into people without goals or purpose, people without focus, people who aren't working towards anything. And we just hope and wish that we're just going to accidentally, right? As drifters do, they live accidentally, that they really think I was that person. I had to admit to myself, Carla, what are you doing? So again, this is a wake-up call. Are we just hoping to drift into success? One day it's going to happen. I'm a good person. I'm a faithful person. I'm a kind person. It'll happen one day. Surely it must. If God is good, it's going to happen. Remember, God can only do for you what he can do through you. We have to take the action. What are we doing? It's not some fated destiny. We create the destiny through the way we think, with our free will, with the help of an infinite intelligence of the universe, of God, whatever you believe in. Providence will be on your side. It will help you. But first, you got to get going. You got to get that rudder moving. We don't just accidentally drift into a port. There is 1,000 miles of rocky coastline. You got to be awake at the wheel. We can't be sleeping. When ships drift accidentally, they don't accidentally drift into their desired port. They crash. They become shipwrecked or drift out to sea so far away from their goals. We have to be intentional. He says, but the 3% who have taken the time, exercise the discipline to decide on a destination and to chart a course, sail straight and far across the deep oceans of life, reaching one port after another and accomplishing more in just a few years than the rest accomplish in a lifetime. You see those people all the time. It's like another win, another goal. Don't those people rest? And again, there is definitely a mindset and an energy to do things and to goal set, because there are people who don't have the proper mindset and they just run themselves ragged and they are into this hustle, sacrificial, painful, if I don't suffer and have blood, sweat, and tears, I won't gain. Sure, do some things take blood, sweat, and tears? Absolutely. But we can learn through joy or we can learn through pain. And there is another way. It all starts in our mind. So here at the Napoleon Hill Institute, we not only teach you and show you and study how to goal set, but we do it from the inside out. We truly are teaching so many deep spiritual, mental, psychological modalities, meditation, calming, mindset work. We understand the mind-body-spirit connection. This truly is a holistic approach to personal development. Nobody is doing what we're doing. Nobody. There is not one institution. There isn't any other coaching program that is doing what we're doing. We are the only institute that is licensed and has all the material from Napoleon Hill. His absolute timeless library of material. There is no other coaches. If you hear it, it's not from us. We are the only ones, and we do it from the inside out. And so that's why we are so grateful, and we understand that it is a big responsibility, and we take it seriously. We're focused. So you see these people that continue to win. How do they keep doing it? They just pick the next port. And I would say, if you're struggling with purpose or finding your drive or what you're meant to do, what do you love? I have a great example. I remember I was lost. I was drifting. And I thought, I'm hearing all this personal development. Wow, you got to have a big plan and persistence and do all this. I'm like, that seems so far away. But one of my mentors asked me, what would you love to do? I said, I want to learn a new language. So I got into a full immersion language course. I can't tell you, day one, my heart lit up. I've always wanted to learn a new language. And then that led me to the next thing and the next thing. So if you are struggling with your purpose or you don't know where to start, what would you love? And today, our homework for you, which I'll explain later, is about setting a goal. It doesn't have to be a big, massive goal. It could be a small personal goal for yourself or for your business, but something that gets butterflies in your stomach. That is our goal today, to write on that goal card what is just lights you up and gets you excited. I love that. Drifting is not obvious. Drifting does not happen overnight. When we hear, I'm a drifter or am I a drifter, and we take that assessment and we're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm a drifter. I'm accomplishing things. Listen, I was making six figures. I had higher degrees. I have a master's in psychology. I have a booming practice. I have a wait list. I'm doing great. However, even in that, I would say I'm not drifting. Oh, yes, I was. Because don't get it confused with, you might be able to see people drifting on the outside. We might be able to see the drifting. However, the more insidious drifting is within, and that's the real drifting. Because we only drift without when we're drifting within. Drifting happens within. We drift far from our soul, from our spirit. We feel this pull. We feel like, no, but I'm getting further and further. I just feel so disconnected. This is not where I thought I'd be. This is not how I thought I'd feel. Drifting happens within, and it's reflected without. But we can really keep up with the Joneses outside and have it look like we're all put together. But we're suffering inside. We don't feel alive. We're in pain because we know that we are not sailing into a port of call or getting ready to sail into a port of call. We're not going towards a goal. Drifting does not happen overnight. It's insidious. It happens little by little. Lefford talked about that yesterday. And it's not obvious. It's a series of 1 degrees. 1 tiny little degrees. And I love the word drifting because it creates so many metaphors. And if you know me, I love me a metaphor. And so if we talk about, the nautical world and compasses and, setting sail and putting the right coordinates if we want to reach our destination, it only takes 1 degree to set you off of your purpose and your path by thousands of miles. The further you get, just by being off 1 degree, can get you so far away. That's why it's so important to understand that drifting happens 1 degree at a time. It's so subtle. What is your 1 degree? What are your habits? And they show up as habits, as thought patterns. Things that you don't think are big deals. It can't be that, Carla. No, that's not a big deal. The coffee creamer I put in my morning coffee isn't the thing that's holding me back from releasing the 5 pounds or the 10 pounds that I've been trying to release for 20 years. It couldn't be that. Yes, it could be. Your coffee creamer can be your 1 degree to the body that you dream of. I experienced that recently. I was unwilling to give up my coffee creamer. I loved my half and half. Life's too short for black coffee, right? I always say that. But that was a recent example for me. It could be so small. What is your 1 degree? Do you have a friend that you gossip with? Do you talk about other people? Do you judge people? Is your 1 degree critical thinking of other people just in your mind? You never say anything. You're very nice. Everyone thinks you're lovely, but little do they know what you're thinking inside. What is your 1 degree? A bigger 1 degree for me, I've shared before with this community, but if it's your first time hearing it, I'm really open with my story about I suffered from anxiety and depression, and I used to use alcohol to cope. I'm almost 5 years sober now. That was my 1 degree. Why was it my 1 degree? Because I didn't even think it was a problem. It was a 1 glass of wine at night. That doesn't make it a problem, does it? But I knew in my soul that it was keeping me away from my deep connection. I wasn't getting deep rest and sleep at night. I was using it. I was leaning on it as a crutch. It was my 1 degree. Alcohol was my 1 degree. What is it for you? Your 1 degree is something you're doing that you know you shouldn't be doing. It might not even be bad. You think it's not bad. However, who would you be without it? I challenge you. I encourage you. Who would you be without that habit, that thought? Who would you be? What's your 1 degree? Or what are you not doing that you know you should do? Because maybe there's a little habit like flossing your teeth. Hello, that could be a 1 degree. I mean, you guys, it could be anything. So what is something that you're doing that you know you shouldn't be doing? And what is something that you know you should be doing that you're not doing? What is your 1 degree? I love the story of the boiling frog. The premise is that if a frog is put suddenly into boiling water, it will jump out. But if the frog is put into tepid water, which is then brought to a boil slowly, it will not perceive the danger and will be cooked to death. The story is often used as a metaphor for the inability or unwillingness of people to react to or be aware of sinister threats that arise gradually rather than suddenly. Again, drifting doesn't happen suddenly. You're not like, I'm not drifting. We're not being thrown into a pot of boiling water. But little do we know that we have been, by 1 degree, the heat has been turned up and we are just boiling, being cooked to death, so to speak, spiritually, emotionally. Our dreams are just, being boiled to death. Our life is just passing us by and we're getting further and further away. And that is the pull in our heart. And there truly is nothing more painful, because what it truly is a betrayal. It's a betrayal of self. If anybody's been through betrayal, it's some of the most painful things. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever betrayed somebody else, that's extremely painful. But the worst betrayal is betraying yourself. It's self-betrayal. It's not being true, honoring, and honest with what you truly want to achieve in life, how you really want to feel in life. Let's stop betraying our soul. Let's stop betraying ourselves and betraying the world, really, because the dreams that were put in your heart, you owe it to all of us. We will never have it if you don't do it. People need help. People need what you have to offer. It's an honor, it's a duty, and you can do it with love, and you could do it with having fun. We all have fun here. We laugh and we joke. Napoleon Hill said, I can best define the word drift by saying that people who think for themselves never drift, while those who do little or no thinking for themselves are drifters. A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind. This is the majority of people. This is literally how we're programmed. We're taught to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of our mind. And everything, including our body, by the way. Your body is the outside world. Your body is a part of the world. You are not your body. You have a body. So a lot of times we feel like the outside world starts outside of our body. No, our body is the outside world. So when we get sick, when we feel a victim to our own body, that's outside circumstances too. Your physical body is outside circumstances. Your brain, the way your brain is wired and continues to bathe yourself in these, hormones, fight or flight, that's the outside world. Let's really think about, what are we letting permit to run the thoughts in our mind, which program our body. So what is the antidote to drifting? How do we stop drifting? Well, number 1, we start studying material like this. We get around like-minded people. We join programs, we get coached, we invest in ourselves. I used to try every which way from Sunday to try to get out and weasel my way of, putting myself on the hook. I watched all the YouTube videos. I used to watch the free events like this. And you get what you pay, I would say you get what you pay for, but hello. But to be honest, what are you investing? Yes, time and money, but time and attention rather. But for me, until I really held myself accountable, until I really put value on this material, it had no value in my life. It was for entertainment. We talked about that yesterday. Are we doing this for entertainment? To be entertained, to get more self-help, to get excited, to get riled up? Woo, this is great. Cut to next spring, next summer, we're in the same place we were. Nothing has changed. Be honest with yourself. Where were you last March? Where were you 5 years ago? Where were you a decade ago? Be truly honest with yourself. Where were you January 1st of 2024? It's going to be April. So how do we stop drifting? Accurate thinking Napoleon Hill talks about accurate thinking. It's one of his success philosophies, a principle. Accurate thinking. Accurate thinkers permit no one to do their thinking for them. They gather information and listen to the opinions of others, but reserve for yourself the privilege of making decisions. Truth will be truth, regardless of a closed mind, ignorance, or the refusal to believe. So, truly make a decision to permit no one to think for you. Mental activity is not thinking. You listening to the news or watching social media or reading articles and blogs is not thinking. It's consuming information. It's other people's thoughts and opinions. Reserve for yourself to make the decision of what you think about whatever you see or hear. Do not be hypnotized by the parroting of information. It's truly an echo chamber. There's not a lot of new information out there because people don't think. The habit of drifting is a habit of neglecting to exercise the privilege of independent thought or to use one's own mind. The world has programmed us to be mindless, to not use our mind, the powerful tool, the true tool that creates life. It's been numbed out of us, pushed out of us. We want to numb. I did that. I told you I used alcohol to cope. I wanted to hush my mind up because I wasn't in control of it. It was in control of me. So we must learn to live from the inside out. Learn to live from the inside out, using your own mind, you choosing your decisions, your thoughts, through mindfulness, creating your own life, creating your own world, not letting the world create it for you. Don't face reality, create it, create reality. So drifters of thought and thinking patterns, they cry that the world has run dry of opportunities, but non-drifters do not wait for opportunity. They create these. Again, leaders create opportunities from themselves. Drifters, they complain that the world is just, going to hell in a handbasket. I mean, that's the majority of people who have the microphone these days. That's why it's so important. And it's a part of our mission to have leaders get louder, more positive, optimistic people who want to do good in this world. We want to put this loud on stage, on the megaphone, because the voices that are loudest and that get the most attention, unfortunately, are negative. Don't become a victim. Don't be a victim. Be a creator. The opposite of a victim is a creator. A lot of us can think, especially, again, like we're here, we could be successful in life. We do this material. We are more aware than maybe people around us or our friends or family, and we're frustrated that other people aren't. And so we would never call ourselves a victim. I would never have called myself a victim. However, I was, because I thought that it was because of what they said, what she was doing, what the circumstance, what the government, this, that, other. I was letting outside circumstances dictate how I thought and felt. I'm a victim. I'm allowing the outside circumstances, the outside, I'm living from the outside in. And that's a painful way to live. A drifter is one who accepts whatever life throws in his way without making a protest or putting up a fight. He doesn't know what he wants from life and spends all of his time getting just that. We just accept whatever life throws. We never fight. We never choose. We don't even know we have an option. We don't even know we have an option. And so that is the last slide, Jeff. You can put that down if you like. So I really hope that you have been able to truly see the difference between what a leader does and what a drifter is. We really spoke about today what a drifter is. It's the majority of people. I'm going to look over here at some of the comments. If anybody has any questions, please put them in. Probably in about 10 minutes, I'm going to bring Cleona up and she's going to speak a little bit. Are you drifting? What do you want? The assignment for today in the workbook, make sure, is the goal card. We want you to get in touch with what you really want. What would you love? What would light you up? What would make you excited to get up for the day? What would make you excited to get up for the day? Make sure that you take the time. There's a couple pages that you can journal about. I really want you to think about what dreams have you, quote, given up on? What's something that you thought was dead and buried and gone? Because it's impossible. If it was a dream in your heart and something you truly desired, it never dies. It's waiting to come through you. Believe me when I say that. I am such living proof of it. I thought that I had drifted so far out, I could never get back. But once you make a decision, all of these principles work together, making a decision, being persistent, auto-suggestion. It helps us to stay on the path. There's a couple things that I want to, so yes, Gary Glass, I love all of Gary's comments. I want to read a little bit from this. This again is from Earl Nightingale. He talks about at any given moment, a ship has a direction and a destination. She's either sailing to a predetermined port of call, or she's in a port getting ready to sail to another one. That's life. We're either going towards a goal or we're planning for another one. What a great way to live. What an exciting way to live. We know people like that. They always got something interesting going on. They're always excited, working towards something. You can ask the captain of any big far-sailing ship where they're going, and they can tell you instantly and in one sentence. Think of yourself as that big ship. You're going towards something. If someone asks you, what are you doing? What you got going on? You can tell them right away. You know, in small talk, when you're like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? I don't know. Like, if we're just like, think about, we're just drifting through life. Our sails aren't even up. We don't even have the sails up because the wind, I mean, we're just letting the water let us drift. And we surround ourselves with other drifters, people who are in their little dinghy boats too. We're just like hanging out, talking about the day, shooting the breeze. We're not headed anywhere, but then we see these boats, these speedboats adjusting, their sails or whatever. And they're headed somewhere and we watch them. We're like, wow, where are they going? I want to go too. We might try to grab onto the back of their boat. You don't got to do that. You have the sails, you have the motor, you can get the rudder, you can get going. You just have to decide. And it seems that most people, we focus on too many different things. We think we want so many different things. We can't focus our efforts or our minds or our hearts on anything specific. That's why we put the goal card. That's why today we're doing the goal card, to be specific. Don't be afraid to be specific. A lot of times people are afraid to be specific because they're like, well, what if it doesn't work out? Well, nothing's going to work out if we don't make a decision. You can't fail. Believe me, you can't mess it up. You can only learn. One of the 6 ghosts of fear, the big fears, the big darkness, right? The fear of criticism, what other people think. What will they say? What will they think? There is no they. There is no they. Nobody is paying attention because everybody is focused on what they're doing. You are the they, and we blame it on other people. So if we don't recognize what we want, it just leads to doubt and confusion. We continue to drift. We don't recognize how vital it is to pick a port, to pick a goal, and to sail to it. We can rest and refit, but we're just getting ready to sail to another port. We're getting ready for the next goal, the next growth spurt. And another great metaphor, Earl Nightingale uses this. If a ship is tied to a dock for some reason and has no place to go, she'll stay there until she falls apart and rusts and can't be used anymore. A ship's engine isn't started until she has some place to go. So your ship, the fire, will not start until you decide on where you want to go. Your engine, a ship's engine, think of yourself as a ship. It will not start until you know that you have someplace to go. And if someone walked up to you and asked you what your next port of call is, what your goal is, where are you headed? What would you say? Are you even at the helm of your ship? Or would they walk up to your ship and be like, where's this ship going? This is just drifting. They ain't no one home. They're sleeping down at the deck. They're snoozing. They're sleeping in. Are you awake? Are you at the helm? Do you know where you're going? Do you have your map? Which is our goal card, which is our goal, journaling. Every morning when you wake up, you know, you can look at your goal card and you know exactly what you're working towards. Right now, I am so excited. I'm working towards a big trip that I've dreamed of for years. It's I want to, immerse myself in a different culture and in a different language. And I want to learn and grow and teach and continue to just live for a few months somewhere else. That is the goal that I'm working towards. And I'm making it happen because that's my goal. I take big leaps. I spoke before, and I'll end with this story of the kind of things we do here at the Napoleon Hill Institute. You hang around us, you're going to make big changes in life, and you're going to love them. But recently, I shared before that I'm a psychotherapist, and I worked a full-time job, and 40 hours a week. I was salary, good money. But I have a mastermind group, and they encourage me all the time. That's another principle here at the Napoleon Hill Institute, Napoleon Hill himself, masterminding with other like-minded people to work on your goals. And they encouraged me. They said, Carla, do you want to keep working that full-time job? I know it's a great salary, but you said you want to go into this full-time. You want to be coaching and content creating and working on the things, your YouTube channel and doing all these things. What's the date? What's on your goal card, Carla? I'm like, oh, they're like, give us a date. I said April 1st, which is next Monday, by the way. And so this was back in February. And at first I was like, ooh, I can't do that. I have a full-time job. I have commitments. I work 40 hours a week. I do all this. But I said, Carla, what do you want? What would you love? And I know I have that goal. What I love is to go and do this for myself. It lights me up. It excites me. And I know now through awareness that it's not just about this trip. I know in my soul that it's calling because there's other opportunities that I can't even fathom, right? That's what happens when you decide to go towards a goal. The gifts are given to you after you do it. We don't know what the greatness that lies ahead, but if you are willing to get out of your comfort zone, the gifts are endless. So that was what happened to me. I decided April 1st that I was going to kind of hand over the reins to all my responsibilities. I was going to change my position from full-time to just kind of per diem, they call it, just hourly. I get to pick my own, schedule and work when I want so that I can focus on what I love. And I made that decision. And so it starts on Monday. So we are actively going through these amazing things. It's like a brand new life for me. I'm so excited. And so again, we teach other concepts like self-image, self-concept. How do I see myself? What do I want for myself? And so I am just elated and full of joy that I'm doing this for myself. I couldn't do it without my mastermind members. I couldn't do it without like-minded people because it's so easy to drift. It's so easy to just say, yeah, one day I'll do this. It'll be 10 years later and I'm in the same position. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for your participation. So whenever Cleona's ready, I would love to have her come up and kind of just join me. But again, I'll just reiterate the assignment for today. The goal card, it's in your workbook. I want you to journal and write the goal that you're going to work towards, no matter what it is. You can scan that right there. It'll take you to the WhatsApp group and it'll give you the workbook and all the information for the assignments. But today I want you to journal. What do you want? What would you love? You don't have to create some big purpose. If you have one, that's great. But usually our heart, what we love, leads us to our purpose. So I want you to write everything that's in your heart. No more drifting. No more sleeping. No more laying below the deck and just letting the winds and, I don't blame a lot of people for getting down below the decks and just sleeping and numbing and watching TV and scrolling and not wanting to get up because the world's too scary. Have faith. We will help you. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Get up on the deck. Get at that helm. Get that map out and start heading towards what you desire, what your heart truly desires. So Jeff, if there's a video, oh, here we go. Cleona, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Carla. This was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I was sitting here in the background just listening, and I'm like, wow, you really made an impression on me, and I'm sure you did for many watching today. I hope that each and every one of you, and I'm so happy to be here, I hope each and every one of you listen carefully to what Carla just shared and go back and listen again, because she shared some very powerful information with you. And you did it from your heart. And I'm so happy for you because you're going on this adventure and it's coming up, right? You didn't tell everybody where. I don't know if you want to tell them, but I know about it.
Yeah, Spain.
Spain. She's going to Spain, everyone.
Yes, I'm so excited.
It's amazing. Now, how many of you on here, tell the truth, you've had a desire in your heart, something like this? Maybe it's not Spain, maybe it's somewhere in America, I don't know. But everyone on here, we all have a desire like this in our heart to just go and experience something new, something wonderful. And so you're really living what we teach. And you're applying, and you're going to be richly rewarded. I always tell you that.
Thank you. I'm so grateful, Cleona. You have totally just transformed and changed my life, and you have helped me so much. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities that you've given me. Truly, I'm so grateful.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I always say, it's not me, it's you. You did the work, but thank you. I just created the space for all of us by helping get Napoleon Hill Institute off the ground again, because it was done before with Napoleon, as you know. And so you deserve it because you apply what we teach. So Carla, I want to thank you. This has been incredible. And everyone, she's going to Spain. And you know what? We have so much going on for the Spanish community. For any of our Spanish viewers, you have no idea what's coming up. I can't wait. I cannot wait. We have a whole Spanish division that's growing so fast. It's going to make your head spin. Yes, one of our leaders, Luis Jimenez, he's one of our great coaches. He's one of the leaders in the Spanish division. Wait till you see what we have coming up for the Spanish division. So learn your Spanish. I know you can speak it already, but you'll come back with a beautiful accent. Say something in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionada.
There we go. What did you say?
I'm very excited.
Okay. I love it.
Yes.
There's a song by Mark Anthony that I love. And he always says, Mi gente.
My people.
My people.
I love that. I love your Spanish.
Thank you. I'm working on it. So we're growing the Spanish division quickly. So I need to learn Spanish quickly. And the most beautiful people. I mean, I've been to Mexico and I love the Mexican people. I love the Spanish community very much. So thank you, Carla.
Thank you, everybody.
So grateful. And I will see you again soon.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Okay. What an incredible week it's been so far. So I have something planned for you all tomorrow. And I have a presentation planned that I'm going to share that's going to be very, very important tomorrow. So make sure you're here at 12 p.m. And what I want to share right now is also very important and dear to my heart. I always like to know, why am I going down this road? Why are we doing personal development? Why are we, you heard Carla talk about it. She's in love with the growth. But I always want to know why. Do you ever question why? I know many of you probably do, and you should. You should always question why. And when I found out, when I was working with Bob Proctor at the time, and I found out that we are truly, every single one of us, we are a soul and a physical body, and we're all growing in conscious awareness. That may be a new term to you, or maybe it's not, and you're very familiar with who you are and your spiritual side. And so I wanted to understand, why do I have to have a goal? Why do I even care about drifting or leading? Why do I care about any of this? And so there's 7 levels of awareness. And I'm going to share a little video I created recently for our mentorship clients. And I'm going to share it. It's called The 7 Levels of Awareness. I want you to watch it right now, and then I'll come back at the end.
Have you ever felt that something's missing? That you're meant for more? What if there was a map? A vision for the journey ahead? Often, we journey through life, confined within the boundaries of our own perceptions, unaware of the boundless potential that lies beyond. But then, something remarkable happens. A catalyst, a spark. Suddenly our awareness begins to expand. With every revelation, every moment of clarity, our perception widens, and the world reveals its hidden wonders. You will discover that awareness is not a static state, but a dynamic journey, unfolding with every moment of insight. You will transcend the limitations of the masses and soar beyond the ordinary into the extraordinary. This journey leads you from fear to courage, follower to leader, student to master.
Hello, this is Cleona O'Hara. Welcome to the Think and Grow Rich mentorship, and welcome to the disruptor phase. The disruptor phase was carefully designed for you in mind, because you're new to this journey, possibly, or maybe you've been in different coaching programs before. So we sat down and we thought about when we started on our. Okay, looks like we have my other twin over there in the video is she's freezing for some reason, so that's fine. I'll just come on here live. Some kind of technical glitch, that's okay. So listen, folks, I'm just going to get to the heart of the matter. As you heard over the last 2 days, that I'm sure you've carefully thought about, are you a drifter or are you a leader? And so my mission and my purpose in life, I know my purpose, and my purpose is to help you discover your purpose and then find a way to give it away. Now, I believe, and I've studied this material for many years. I was even talking to a wonderful man last night called Neil Donald Walsh. Many of you have probably heard of him from his great book, Conversations with God. And he agreed with me. And I've spoken to other great spiritual teachers, masters of this material. And they agree that our purpose here on earth as a soul is to find out what our gifts and our talents are and find a way to give them away. Okay? That is my purpose, to help people like you, if you have not discovered what your gifts and talents are, and find a way to give them away. And so I'm in the business of creating leaders. We need more leaders on this planet. You heard what Carla said, and you know why. I don't need to go back into the why we need leaders. But I'll tell you this, there's 7 levels of awareness. And when you understand, let me see if I can pull them up and we can go over one by one. There's 7 levels of awareness. No, our techie stuff is not working the way we want it. That's okay. So level 1 is the lowest level of awareness. And most people, you heard Napoleon Hill, and you've heard some of the great masters, most people are living at level 1 and 2. They're drifting through life, no aim or purpose. They have no goals, and they're following the crowd. Level 2, you're following the masses. You're doing what everybody else is doing. You've got a job because somebody else said that's a good job. Get a good paycheck, have a good life. And you know what? That's what's happening. People are literally being hypnotized through life, through the TV, through media, through their family, through conditioning in their environment, in schools, you name it. I was completely conditioned. I had no goals. I blamed the whole world for my misery. And so when I finally got the courage around level 3 of the self level of awareness, 7 levels of awareness, level 3, I started to have aspirations. I started to say, you know what? I actually want more in life. I want more in life. There has to be more to life than this. This is level 3, where you have aspirations, but you're not taking action. How many of you that are listening right now, tell the truth? Tell the truth. Go inwards into your heart. How many of you are not satisfied and you're living somebody else's life? You can put it in the chat. You can put it in the chat. I'm looking at the comments here. And many of you are following the crowd or following the masses. You have aspirations, but you're not taking action, right? There's over 95% of the world is living this way. And it's not until you grow in awareness does everything start to change. Then you start to take action. You will not take action until you change the programming in the subconscious mind. And that's what we're masters at. We teach people how to change the program, how to replace the old program, and so that you can become aware of who you truly are. And so the next level of awareness, thank you. Somebody put it up here. I think it was Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Level 4 is when you become an individual and you decide to say, enough is enough. I'm going to go after what I want, my dreams. And so what is it that you want? You keep hearing this from us. You become an individual when you figure out what you truly want, what you truly want. And then you start to express yourself. I'm different. I'm not going to wear the same clothes. I'm not going to get this job just because I was told to get this job. I actually love, she wants to, for example, Carla wants to go and learn Spanish, improve her Spanish and experience the Spanish culture. I think it's wonderful. I wanted to get into personal development. What do you want to express? Who are you? What do you love? What lights you up and puts a fire in your belly? What are you passionate about? What brings a tear to your eye when you think about it? Even me talking about it right now, I get passionate because I see so many people drifting through life. They don't understand. They're not aware. They're in level 1, 2, and 3. They're walking around hypnotized. I see people walking in the street with their phone on their face, crossing the road like this, crossing the road with a phone in their face. They're completely hypnotized through social media, through news, through these devices. It's time to wake up. You are not a free thinker if you're in the program. You know you're in the program if you're always doing this. You know you're in the program if you're watching the news and that poison, the poison that comes from the news. My God. Do you understand what's going in through your senses to your subconscious mind? Do you understand that you're just hypnotized and you're living out a program? And this is what's happening in the world today. It's time for us all to stand up and catch the program within you. Okay, you have a choice. You have a choice to either be a follower or be a leader. And if you're on this call today, my friends, there's a reason why you're here. And I guarantee you it's not to be a drifter or a follower. It's because there's something in you. There's the essence of your soul is calling you to step up, stand out, and speak out and become a unique individual and live your soul's purpose. You're being called, my friends. There's no accidents here. You're being called. You're chosen. You were chosen to carry out something magnificent. You were chosen to carry out something so different and to serve your gifts and talents. Now, will you be brave enough? Will you be strong enough? Because when the storm comes, most people crumble, they back down, and they retreat. They retreat to safety. They retreat back to the old program, the program like this, walking through the street hypnotized. Now, my job and our job here at the Napoleon Hill Institute is to wake people up so that you can be of service to humanity. Be of service to yourself. Live your soul's destiny. Because otherwise, we've wasted our whole life here on this planet. We didn't follow what was calling. What was calling to your soul? What is calling to you now? Did you follow it? Were you brave enough? Or did you retreat back to the old program? Because I'm going to go more in depth tomorrow, and I'm going to tell, and I'm going to rat out on the program. I'm going to bring you very deep tomorrow into what this program is all about. And I'm talking about the program in your subconscious mind that's holding you back. And we're going to disrupt it. We're going to change it, and we're going to replace it. And you are going to grow in awareness. If you stick around me and you stick around Carla and our team, that's what we are going to do. We have results. We have results. And Bob used to always say, my late mentor, results are the name of the game. Are you hanging around people that don't have results? Let me ask you that. Are you hanging around people who don't have results? What are you doing that for? Are you taking advice from people who don't have results? So if you are, you're living in level 1, 2, and 3. So level 4 is when you start to express yourself, my friends. Level 5 is when you step into this magical zone. Discipline. Discipline is something I used to be afraid of. It was a word that I did not like because I was a drifter and I blamed everybody. It was my mom's fault. It was my dad's fault. Oh, my mom left me. Oh, my dad. Oh, I was abused. I held on to that victim flag for many, many years. It actually felt good to be a victim. That's how sick it was. I was operating in the program. I was walking around as a victim, and I was actually enjoying it. I was enjoying it. Poor me. Look at me. The world owes me something. Until I woke up one day and I found out the cause of all my problems. And the cause of all my problems was staring at me in the mirror. It was me. It was my programming. It was my thinking. And then I made a decision, committed decision, that I was going to change, that I was going to become somebody of value. And that's what I want for everyone. I want you to live your soul's purpose. When you understand level 5, you will understand discipline is when you give yourself a command internally, you tell yourself to do something, and you actually follow through. And discipline is self-love. Discipline is self-love. Level 6 is experience. This is when you have real learning. We are growing in awareness here at the Institute. Many of our coaches are living at level 6. They understand the material. How do we know? Because they're actually applying the principles, Napoleon Hill's principles. They're applying them in their life. They're taking action. This is the way they think now. They know what to do in every situation and they apply it. So they're now experiencing real learning. Level 7 is called mastery. Level 7 is called mastery, and I aspire to be a master as well. I aspire to be like Gandhi. I aspire to be like Jesus, like Buddha, and some of these amazing master teachers that learned how to respond instead of react. And we will talk further about that tomorrow when we talk about the information that's coming through your senses. Do you respond? Do you know how to respond gracefully, or do you react? Do you react? Do you get angry? And today I actually reacted to something in the morning. And I'll tell you the truth. My daughter is only nine years old, my little daughter. And she has an iPad and she has her friends, and I let her go on the iPad. But I noticed my daughter was changing. My little daughter was changing. She was becoming more lazy. She was becoming less disciplined. Her room was a mess. I would tell her, go clean her room. And then she would go on the iPad. And I didn't want to stop her from seeing her friends. And then I noticed my own daughter, right before my eyes, was starting to drift. She left chocolate on the floor. We have a little puppy. As you know, it's very dangerous for animals to have chocolate. And so this morning I reacted when I saw what was going on with my little daughter. And it hit me. My own daughter could be drifting. And how many of us are giving our kids these iPads, these phones, and social media, and we don't even know what they're consuming. And so I made a decision today. She's not getting it. I told her I'm going to educate her. I'm going to help her. I'm going to work with her. And so I ask you all to take a look around today and notice who's drifting. Are you drifting? Is your family drifting? And I would ask you to be very careful and make decisions that's going to help your family. Okay? Otherwise, we are just being hypnotized and we don't even realize what we're doing. And so I want to share a few attributes of being a leader. And we'll go deeper tomorrow. Let's see how much time we have. We have 15 minutes or so left. If you have any questions so far, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat and we will get your questions brought up. In the meantime, I'm going to ask to bring up a few slides. We want to talk a little bit about what is a leader. And actually, there's a book that's very, very meaningful to me. It's called Mental Dynamite. And these are some of the originals from the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And what we have here is we have Napoleon Hill interviewing Andrew Carnegie. And I love Andrew Carnegie. I mean, have you ever studied Andrew Carnegie and discovered that he became one of the wealthiest men in the world. And what did he do? He made sure that all his money was given away before he died. He invested in libraries, in education, in charity. He was the most charitable, wonderful, wonderful soul. I aspire to be someone like that, to be of great impact. And so in this book, I want to share some pictures here first. This is me and Scott Edwards and Dawn Green down at the foundation. This is the actual, our coaches are authorized to go down there and be with the actual manuscripts and all the original materials that Napoleon Hill created are down there, the books, everything, even his personal artifacts are there, his clothing. And it's, when you go there, the energy is magnificent. It's a very powerful place to be. And so myself and Scott went down there when we started on this journey. And in our hands here at the on the table, you'll see this is the original book, the Outwitting the Devil book, the original manuscript that was typed by Napoleon Hill at the time. And so Dawn Green, the executive director of the foundation, was showing us all of these materials. It was so powerful. All of this work that Napoleon Hill has collected for us and organized for us, all of the work that he's done. We are blessed at this institute because of the foundation. We are so blessed. And so what I wanted to share with you today, when Napoleon Hill sat down with Andrew Carnegie, he interviewed him, and I'm going to pull out what he shared. He asked him to share the major causes of failure. Let me just do it. I can't see it because it's too small, but I'll do it from the book. You can read along. Hopefully you can see and read along with me. Okay. All right. I can make it a little bit bigger. The major causes of failure as there are causes of success. Okay, so Hill's interviewing Carnegie, and this is what he said. He said, Hill said, will you name these causes in the order of their importance? And Carnegie said, no, that would not be practical, but I will name some of them and place at the head of the list of the most common of all causes of failure. Number one is the habit of drifting. And that's why we did this workshop this week. Number one cause of failure is the habit of drifting through life without a definite major purpose. This is one of the key causes of failure in that it leads to other causes of failure. That's number one. So that's why this is so important. Number two is unfavorable physical hereditary foundation at birth, including, incidentally, this is the only cause of failure that is not subject to elimination. And even this can be bridged through the principle of the mastermind. And that's why all of our coaches and our clients, we encourage them to immediately get into a mastermind. Find people that have strength that you don't have, and vice versa. The mastermind is so powerful. And that's what Andrew Carnegie contributed most of his success, not to himself, but to the power of the mastermind. And number three is the habit of meddlesome curiosity concerning other people's affairs, through which time and energy is wasted. And you can just take a moment when we're finished after watching this and be really honest and ask yourself, does this apply to you? Number four, inadequate preparation for the work in which one engages, especially inadequate schooling. And that doesn't mean just regular traditional schooling. That could mean schooling as far as specialized knowledge is concerned. Okay, specialized knowledge. And what I didn't go to college. I didn't even finish college. I think I did 1 year in technical college. I didn't finish it. And so, but I've done very well for myself. How? Because I went to the School of Life and I went to the School of Personal Development. And so it doesn't mean traditional schooling. Number five, the lack of self-discipline, generally manifesting itself through excesses in eating, drinking, intoxicating beverages, and sex. This is a lack of self-discipline. I know a lot of people are probably like, they're feeling it right now, and they know the truth of where you're at. Number 6, indifference towards opportunities for self-advancement. I've coached people all the time, and it breaks my heart when people say, I'll do it later, or I'm not sure if I really want to change. When I hear that, it's like I have an allergic reaction, because they don't understand they're drifting. They don't understand that it's your responsibility to grow here on earth. It's literally your responsibility to grow, not to stay the same. That means you came here just to take. You came here to grow and express yourself and share your gifts and talents. It's that simple. And so when you hear people, they don't have any, they're indifferent towards any kind of opportunity. For me, that's heartbreaking. That's not growing. That's called dying, in my opinion. Number 7 is the lack of ambition to aim above mediocrity. Why would you be happy to stay the same? I'm not talking about being grateful. Grateful is being grateful for where you are today, and always be grateful for where you are in the moment. But you should be aiming to grow and experience. This is the joy of life. 8, ill health, often due to wrong thinking, improper diet, and exercise. So we started with the wrong thinking, can make us sick, as we all know. Number 9, unfavorable environmental influences during early childhood. Yes, I understand that. I grew up in a country, in a place where there was war, there was poverty, there was depression. And so my outlook on life, if I didn't do this work, would have been not that great. If I didn't do the reprogramming and I didn't find this material. Number 10 is lack of persistence in carrying through to finish what one starts, due to, in main, to the lack of definite purpose and self-discipline. This is so important. I want you to really understand this. People that are being coached, they always say, they give up. They don't persist. Many reasons why you don't persist is because you don't have a definite purpose yet. You don't have the right goal. If you're not excited to get up every day and you're not enthused about what you're going after and you're not in enthusiasm, it could be that you have the wrong goal, my friends. And I've coached people, and I've seen this many, many times. They had a goal that they thought they should have. Find something that lights you up. Find something that lights you up, because if you don't, you're not going to persist. You're going to quit. You will quit. And then number 2, of course, is lack of self-discipline. That's why we meet every morning at 5:30 in the morning, 6 days a week, now 5 days a week, actually. We have our self-discipline camp where our clients, our coaches are in there every morning, and we study together, we meditate together, we write out our definite major purpose for this reason, because we know if we don't stay on track, we will go back and we'll drift. I can't afford to do that, and neither can you. And then number 11 is the habit of maintaining a negative mental attitude in connection with life generally. Now, I see people that are so negative all the time. They're just programmed to have a negative mental attitude. I run away from those people. I also suggest you do the same or change the subject or do something, right? Or try to lead them to one of these programs. Number 12, the lack of control over emotions through controlled habits. You see a lot of people that cannot control their emotions. Number 13, the desire for something for nothing. This one also gives me the shivers. People that want something for nothing, usually expressed through gambling and more offensive habits of dishonesty, stealing, trying to get one over on someone, trying to get. I've met so many of them over the years. And I'll tell you this, you should never want anything for nothing. You're breaking a law, not just a legal law. I don't even know if it is a legal law, but by universal law, you shouldn't want to win the lottery because you're expecting something for cheap or for nothing. You have to earn everything you have, friends. You have to earn everything you have. Your job is just to focus on serving and giving, not focusing on the money. I'm going to get all the money. You just focus on serving and giving value. Don't expect anything for nothing. It's a horrible way to live, and it's part of the drifting attributes. So next is 14, indecision and indefiniteness. We're going to go deep into decision tomorrow. We're going to talk about decision in depth. Number 15 is one or more of the basic 7 fears: poverty, fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love, fear of old age, fear of loss of liberty, and fear of death. 16, this one I'm guilty of. I have to be honest, the wrong selection of a mate in a marriage. The wrong selection of a mate in marriage. And I send him love. God bless him. I only want the best for him. But I chose wrong. I should have waited. I should have took my time. How many of you have also experienced this? It can really, really disrupt your life. You have to be very careful who you choose to marry. It could, look what happened to Napoleon Hill. Same thing. In Rosalie, who helped him write Think and Grow Rich, that young, beautiful woman. And then she took, he wrote the book, she helped type it up, and she helped him, and she ended up taking him in all his wealth. It was a wrong choice in marriage, right? And so it could totally disrupt your life if you have take your time, do your homework. There's no rush. Be very careful. Make sure, if I could give advice and from what I've learned, make sure whoever you choose as a mate, make sure you have similar or the same beliefs. Make sure that you have the same or similar beliefs, okay? And that you have a desire to grow together. 17, over-caution in business and occupational relationships. That's when you're not willing to take any risks. You're too overcautious. 18, excess tendency towards chance. This is when you're just a little bit reckless. You're just going to take a chance without doing your homework, right? There's a happy medium. 19, the wrong choice of associates in business or occupational work. Again, do your homework. Do your research. Take your time. Work with them for a while before you make a permanent decision. 20, the wrong choice of a vocation or total neglect to make a choice. This is when you're drifting. 21, lack of concentration of effort, leading to dissipation of one's time and energies. Your most important assets are your time and your energy. That's it. That's all you have. 22 is the habit of indiscriminate spending without a budget control over income and expenditures. Are you spending more than you're earning? Do you have a handle on it? 23, the failure to budget time and money. Failure to budget and use time properly. Where are you spending most of your time throughout the day? 24, lack of controlled enthusiasm. So we love enthusiasm. It will get you so far in life when you're enthusiastic and you have a positive mental attitude. You can walk into any room, you will be loved and admired. But when you can't control it and you're too excited, this is also a problem. 25, intolerance, a closed mind based particularly on ignorance, prejudice, and connection with religion, politics, or economics. You see that all the time on the internet, people calling each other names, slandering each other because they have different beliefs. Be open to all religions. Love everyone for where they are. 26, failure to cooperate with others in a spirit of harmony. 27, craving for power or wealth not earned or based on merit. There it is again. There's these people that want something for nothing, and all they're focused on is the money. All they're focused on is the money or the power or the title. Well, I'll tell you this. I've done very well for myself, and I'm never going to stop. But I've never once just focused on money. I've never once focused on a title. I've never once focused on having power. I really don't care. I don't care about it. I just focus. Am I doing a good job? Can I get better? How can I do things better? How can I serve more? How can we get better here at the company? How can we give better service? How can we get better technology? That's all I'm focused and obsessed with. I've never once focused on the money for money's sake. This is not success. The money comes as a byproduct. The title and the power and the fame and whatever else will come as a byproduct. But that should never be your focus, ever. Because it may last for a little while. It may last. We'll talk about it tomorrow in depth. I've seen a lot of people rise and fall right before my eyes because of this. And it is not why we're here. It is not why we're here. 28 is the lack of a spirit of loyalty where loyalty is due. I'll never forget who gave me a hand up. I'll never forget. And do you remember who's helped you? Are you loyal to those that deserve your loyalty? 29, egotism and vanity not under control. It's all over the internet. I see these young women and men, and I'm thinking, what are they doing? They're half naked, and they're out there, and they're trying to get confidence and attention on the internet with their bodies pretty much naked. And they're doing these surgeries and doing all these things for vanity's sake. For a little bit of false confidence. It's an epidemic. This is not the way it should be. Next is 30. Number 30 is exaggerated selfishness. Selfishness. All about yourself. Here at the Napoleon Hill Institute, we lead from a heart of service. How can we serve others? How can we give more? And will always be that way. It will always be that way. That's my promise. That's our guarantee. Our coaches, I see Kathleen Walton just got put up on the screen. She's one of our incredible coaches, certified coaches. She just leads with her heart, serving and serving. And that's what you're supposed to be doing too, my friends. And so we will go over the rest tomorrow. I think we've given you enough to study today. And your homework, I'm going to see if Carla's still here. If she is, we can give the homework. Otherwise, I think she repeated the homework where you are going to getting an assignment sent out to you by email. And tomorrow, myself and Jeffrey Gitomer, the King of Sales, best-selling author of the Little Red Book of Sales and Selling, is coming tomorrow. He's written over 17 books. He's the king of sales for a reason. He's an incredible writer. He's a great thought leader, and I'm preparing something. I want to go deeper tomorrow to teach you about the program that's operating in your life, and I'm going to teach you how to change it. So I will see you all tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern. Do the assignment, and I'll see you then. Watch the replay.
Time, relentless and unforgiving, waits for no one. But what if you had just 60 seconds to change your life, to chase your dreams? Napoleon Hill faced such a moment. In just 60 seconds, he had to decide his destiny a destiny that would shape millions of lives. In those fleeting moments, he envisioned a world where success wasn't just for the chosen few, but for anyone daring enough to dream. And so, he chose. He chose to become the author of Think and Grow Rich. 60 seconds. That's all it took to change his life and the lives of countless others. If you had 60 seconds to change your life and live your dreams, would you seize the moment? The choice is yours.